I'm here to talk a little bit about the Florida tourism industry, the number one industry in the state of Florida, and I can tell you that tourism in the state of Florida has a tremendous amount of momentum. We are coming off of what will be our fifth consecutive record year in terms of visitation. Last year alone, as you've seen on several slides, Florida welcomed 106 million out-of-state and international visitors. That's up 24 million visitors from just 5 years ago. Visitors from 189 different countries. And those visitors last year spent $108 billion. And what's really amazing is that we've talked a lot about what incredible things have happened in the last 5 years. Visitors last year spent $30 billion more than they did in 2010 in the state of Florida. And we talked a lot of big numbers, kind of putting that into perspective. Today, in the state of Florida, there are 1.9 million out-of-state and international visitors spending money. 1.9 million people. Those visitors today will spend $300 million in the Sunshine State. So it's an incredibly powerful business. Today, 1.4 million Floridians are employed in the hospitality industry. The payroll of that 1.4 million people is $50 billion. What's really interesting, I think a lot of people in this room, we've heard a lot of presentations talking about the hospitality industry employees, and there's certainly a lot of those employees are in food and beverage and hospitality. Out of that $50 billion, $11 billion are compensation for business services, finance, real estate, and insurance. So this industry touches a lot more than what you would just normally expect or normally think of when you think of the tourism and hospitality industry. So again, the Florida industry has a tremendous amount of momentum. First 6 months of 2016, we're already at record pace, really setting ourselves up for a sixth consecutive record year, and that's exciting, especially when you think that those 108 million visitors, that they made a conscientious decision to choose Florida over any number of other competing destinations in what is truly a hyper-competitive global marketplace. And you think about it, we have to make a lot of decisions and trade-offs in life, and where we spend our hard-earned money and our precious vacation time is a choice. So we have a lot of competition globally. I can tell you that the tourism industry in the state of Florida generally has had a pretty tough summer. If you kind of think about some of the challenges that we've had starting here in Orlando with the terrorism attack, we've had Zika, we've been dealing with our first hurricane in 11 years. We talk about some of the things that are impacting our three biggest markets, from Brexit in the UK to what the impacts of a strong dollar have with our Canadian visitors and the amount of money they spend, and the challenges in the economy down in Brazil and Latin America. There's a lot of challenges that face us. Again, if we want to continue to be successful, if we want to continue to be able to reach Governor Scott's goal of 115 million visitors this year, which I was really, to be honest, I was thrilled that it didn't go up. Usually every time I see him, that number goes up and up and up. So if we're going to be successful, we're going to have to recognize that we can't take this tourism industry for granted. We can't take that $108 billion shot to the Florida economy for granted. We can't assume that just because there's a chart that shows that we're going to continue to grow, that in 2030 we're going to have 150 million visitors. Rather, we have to make sure that we're making conscientious decisions as a state to continue to grow that business. And I'll tell you why I'm very confident in the long-term health and future of the Florida tourism industry, despite some of the challenges that we have today and most certainly will have down the road. But one is we have visionary public sector leadership. And when you saw Governor Scott today talk about what it's going to take moving forward, it's critical that we have a governor that recognizes the economic impact of the Florida tourism industry and our industry's ability to create jobs for Floridians. We've been really fortunate in the last 6, 7, 8 years to have a legislature that recognizes the economic impact of travel and tourism industry and our industry's ability to create jobs. As Governor mentioned, there's 800 plus days left in his administration, but we have a lot of elections coming down the road in just a few weeks, and we have to make sure that our elected officials, both at the state level and at the local levels, recognize the economic impact of our industry. We're incredibly fortunate to have the best tourism product in the world. There's no place on earth that has the tourism product that we have in the state of Florida. And I could spend 30 minutes going through the laundry list of the amazing product that we have. But we have to recognize, and I think some of the conversations that have been held today and over the course of the Future of Florida Forum are really important. We have to take a lesson from Disney. You don't just, we've got an incredible product. We have to continue to reinvest in that product, continue to improve and protect that product, and make sure that we will always provide the best tourism product and tourism experience in the state of Florida. One of the most important things that I think our future is incredibly bright. Again, last year we had 24 million more visitors than we had just 5 years ago. And as the technology that Secretary Boxwell was talking about, that is impacting us. We now have 24 million more ambassadors. When I was a kid, I remember coming home from a vacation and sharing photos with our neighbors and talking about what incredible experiences we had. Now that happens in real time, and we're doing that on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat. So we have more ambassadors now that carry the fact that we have an extraordinary tourism product. And then we have an amazing hospitality culture. And the hospitality culture for the state of Florida is something that I think not only bodes extraordinarily well for the Florida tourism industry, but for all of us. It's the quality of life component and the fact that we have a very welcoming and positive environment in the state of Florida. And that is providing those 108 million visitors with extraordinary experiences that they'll share with their friends and family. And finally, marketing. I can tell you that 108 million visitors doesn't happen by accident. To get to $115 million, 115 million visitors next year will not just happen by accident. We have to be very, very aggressive at the local level, at the state level, and also at the federal level to really continue to push our message out there in a very, very, very hyper-competitive marketplace. And that is always going to be a challenge. How can we make sure that we have the leadership continue to invest in us, and we all recognize that return on investment that is being invested in destination marketing is not only just benefiting the Florida tourism industry, it's benefiting all of the state of Florida, not only in the fact that we don't have a sales income tax as a result of tourism and hospitality spending that $108 billion, but it's helped provide an environment and that recognition of the incredible quality of life that we have. So again, for those reasons, I'm incredibly optimistic that the state of Florida is incredibly well positioned to reach our vision of establishing Florida as the #1 travel destination in the world. And I thank you all for all of your support and all of your continued advocacy and the incredible work that you do to make Florida the best that we can be. Thank you.